Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sunday night at 9 p.m. I'm your co-host, Rufus Carpenter, with other co-host, Coach Glenda. Welcome to Sunday night at 9. Hey, Dr. Johnson, how you doing? Glad to see you. Ava, I see you out there somewhere. No, it wasn't Ava. Angela, you're out there somewhere. So come on board when you get that opportunity. Tonight, we have an interesting subject for you tonight. Damn, sometime you got to do something different. Once again, tonight's topic, damn, sometime you got to do something different. When I say that, the first thing you think about, what in the world? Yes. I can see it. I can see it now. But tonight's an interesting topic in the fact that tonight we're going to talk about some things, because when you're in a relationship, there's a lot of times the patterns that you're in your life hold you back. And all the time we talk about relationships, it's not all about breaking up or changing everything. It's sometimes just take a step back and relook and evaluate. Because if you're not getting what you need out of a relationship, that's when you really need, you and your partner need to come together and talk about it. And that's what the night is going to be about. The night is going to be about talking about it, communication, about getting your needs met and getting your partner's needs met. And we're going to have a beautiful time with that. Once again, I'm your co-host, Rufus Carpenter, with co-host Glenda Driver. And let me tell you a little bit about myself first before I turn this over to Glenda. I come to this space a little different. My beginning in this space started as a little boy in a family of 14 in a small 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in Virginia. Now, 16 people in a 3-bedroom and 1 bathroom. And oh, by the way, if you have the pleasure of sleeping with 3 or 4 of your siblings and one happen to be an occasional bedwetter, you get to understand what the essence of human connection is all about. My journey didn't stop there. I was married 27 years. And being married 27 years, you learn things about trust, commitment, communication, and definitely compromise. These not necessarily are the things for a successful relationship or marriage, but these are the things you need to understand a deeper human connection. Story still didn't stop there. I joined the United States Army, and I was in the Army. One of my career choices and jobs was human relation and race relationship leader. Well, I had the responsibility of going to any unit that had a relationship or a race problem, and I'd be the first person on the scene, and I would have to do the initial intake. And what that meant was I would have to help decide what level of authority or what resources we had to throw at solving that problem. But another part of this conversation tonight is I bring the male perspective, because our sweet spot for viewers are mostly Black women from the ages of 30 to 65. The framework of tonight's discussion is going to be talking about relationships, and it's going to be where you and about 20 of your girlfriends are in your living room and you're comfortable. It's a safe spot. You get your drink of choice, might have a bottle of wine or a couple glasses of wine or whatever your beverage is of choice, and you can really talk intimately about your relationships. And we ask that you share, because you don't know, sometimes what you're going through, one of your sister girls right down from you might be going through the same thing. You might be dressing yours up a little bit better than she does. But when you speak your truth, it gives her a chance to say, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. So there's value in experience. So we ask tonight that you be comfortable, share, have questions, ask questions. This is an interactive time where you can actually come out. You can either just speak out, or you can raise your electronic hand, or, well, I'll let Glenda do the housekeeping. Glenda, I talked enough. Let's turn it over to you. Glenda?
Okay, well, the only housekeeping note that he forgot was, if you're not speaking, please keep your mic on mute until it's your turn to speak. And I want to just say hello. It's nice to see everybody here tonight. I'm so glad that you sacrificed your Sunday night at 9 to come and share it with Reset to Healthier Relationships. But I will not delay our open discussion even longer. So I wanted to state in regards to the topic, that, give me 1 second. Okay. Relationships can be complicated, and often we don't realize that we're settling for less than what we deserve. This conversation highlights the importance of recognizing when a relationship is no longer healthy. It empowers Black women, also all women, that's what I should say, to take control, move past fear, and embrace the idea of change. Whether it's leaving an unhealthy relationship or shifting the dynamic, doing something different is the key to opening doors for happiness and emotional wellness. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the illustration to get us all up and going with tonight's discussion, because I know all you guys are just, ready and willing to just dive right into tonight's topic. Okay, so we have Tanya's story. Tanya had been in a 10-year marriage feeling undervalued and unheard. The arguments had grown and the love had faded. One day she realized that sticking to the same pattern was draining her mentally. She had to make the brave decision to seek counseling alone and later to separate from her partner. Today, Tanya says, I finally feel free and can focus on loving myself and what's next in life. So based off that right there, Tanya sounds a little bit about she sounds a little bit like me when I moved from Virginia to Georgia after my divorce, because, after so many years of being married, I realized that I wasn't getting what I really signed up for. And at the end of the day, when I made that ultimate shift and changes states, I mean, my whole mindset changed and my life was opened up to new and great things going forward, and even as of today. So based off of that scenario, that illustration that I just read to you, I wanted to know what thoughts come to mind to you ladies or the audience tonight. What comes to mind? Can anyone say that they can relate to Tanya's story? Do they have a story that is similar? Maybe not exactly, but do you have any comments or feedback you want to add to Tanya's story tonight? Now, let's not all speak at one time. All right, Mr. Carpenter, I'm gonna have to lean on you right now.
Yeah, but before that, we were having problems with the people in the waiting room. For some reason, they were falling out. They weren't coming in from the waiting room. We had two people. I know Angela was one, and Ramona was in the waiting room. We couldn't come out. So I was trying to get them out. But as soon as we figured that out.
Okay.
When you talked about Tanya's story, being undervalued and unheard of in a relationship, this is nothing new. All of us have been in a relationship time to time where you felt like you weren't heard, like it was stagnant. It wasn't moving. You didn't get what you need out of a relationship. We've all been there. When that happened, what do you do? Do you continue business as usual and you just go ahead and say it'll get better and you wish it gets better? Do you settle? Or do you take a step back and say, hey, look, what do I need to do to get this relationship back on track? Mm-hmm. And you got to realize all relationships, no matter whether it's good or bad relationship, they erode in time. Even the best relationship erodes in time. Relationships are ebb and flow. And that's why it's a partnership. That's why the two of you working together makes that relationship. Because when one of you is struggling, it's when the other comes in and say, what do my partner needs? It's a union. Let's back up, because right now we're not moving at the same pace or the same frequency. Let's back up. What do you need? What can I do to assist, to help you get there? Right. Because it could be a growth problem. You may not both grow at the same level, the same pace. Mm-hmm. And it could be the person just don't know how to ask for your help. Because your relationship has ups and downs or stagnate, it may not necessarily mean you got to change partners or you got to destroy the relationship or give up. What it means is that you have to realize what's going on and work together the problem. Now, we're going to talk about solving it as we go along because there's routes to solving it.
Okay.
It can be as easy as you and that person finding out how you guys want to communicate it. It could be a communication that you listen to each other, actually open up and listen. Instead of wanting to be heard, take a moment to listen to your partner. Or it could be that you might need professional help. You might have to go to a psychiatrist or a therapist to help sort some of these issues out. Or it could be as easy as going to a trusted friend or a family member. Say, hey, sister, help me out. Here's what I'm experiencing. Have you kind of went through this before? How did you handle it? So there's a lot of ways to fix it, but let's talk about some of the signs that there's maybe some things you might need to discuss or talk about. Let's stick in that area right there. Let's help Tanya out in this case study. Where Tanya had been in a marriage for 10 years and she felt undervalued and unheard. The arguments had grown and the love had faded. So let's talk about that. What are some of the things you experience in this line? Could it be that some issues that they know how to love, but they don't know how to forgive?
I think Tanya needs to identify what the problem is and bring that to her partners. What's going on, Mr. Carpenter?
No, go ahead. I'm trying to get the people out of the waiting room.
Okay. All right.
If I'm gonna tell them if they stay in over 2 minutes just to read, come back on and come back on.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's fine.
I have a question.
Yes, Gigi, please chime in.
Listen, what if you have a partner that sees that nothing they're doing is wrong and that they're always right, and when you try to approach them about the problem, they make it seem like it's you that has the problem and not them?
That's a red flag to me, because it sounds like they can't be wrong. And that's the first indicator that there's an issue in your relationship. So you're going to be talking to yourself because they don't see anything wrong that they do. I've been in relationships like that, and it just ended awful. I had to pray that the Lord showed them themselves, because I know it's not all me. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm not in a relationship by myself. I'm in a relationship with somebody else. But this person comes off as Mr. or Miss Perfect, and that's not the case. I mean, I would still say talk to them and let them know what your problem is in the relationship. And if they still come back constantly with the same response, oh, it's all in your mind, or it's not me, it's you're making a big deal out of nothing, then that's the time when you really need to make an executive decision for yourself. You need to really evaluate, is it really me? Am I making this stuff up? Or really, do we have a problem? Because you're never going to be able to progress, and you can't progress with somebody that thinks that they're never wrong, and you can't tell them anything. And I know that I couldn't. Mr. Carpenter, you got any feedback from Ms. Gigi?
Gigi, restate your question, because I was typing something and I normally I'm listening the whole time, but I'm just trying to get the people out of the waiting room onto the platform. So, can you restate your question, Gigi? And I apologize for not hearing it.
Sure. What if you have a person that sees themselves as not being wrong, that everything that they're doing is right and you're wrong?
Which means suppose. That happens all the time. This ain't suppose. This real life. That happens a lot. And a lot of people like that. Matter of fact, a lot of people, not that they don't see themselves doing wrong. They just don't want it. They're just not going to fess up to it. In their mind, they don't care. They're not going to own it. I was in a conversation and a person says, when I was in a conversation, a person always said, you this. You did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. When they start saying you, they're not owning it right then. If they say I, then they take ownership. So you know when they start saying you, already they're not owning it. So you have a couple things to do. When you listen, first listen, just let them get it all out. And then you can say, well, I understand your point, but here's how I handle myself in those situations. And you kind of show them where you said, here's my blame in that. And say, hey, there's two sides to every coin. This is the way you see it. But let me share how that sounds to me. And here's something that we don't do when we get relationships. A lot of times we get in relationships when we first meet that person in that first stage, that honeymoon stage, when everything is so beautiful, and we decide we're gonna go further. We don't discuss how we're gonna handle conflicts in a relationship. We don't have that discussion. So when we have conflicts, we don't have any kind of framework or pattern to move forward from. And if you have somebody that always think you to blame and not them, you're really gonna struggle. But this is where you say, hey, look, hey, I love you, I like you, we're gonna do this thing together. But when we have conflicts, let's not point fingers. Let's sit down, and there's a rule, we got something we call start, stop, and continue. Is a real good exercise we use. And then start and say, hey, you guys say, we're gonna take time. Here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna start, stop, and continue. Here's something I wish we would start doing together, and something good, whatever that is. And then if something you don't like in a relationship, here's something I feel we should stop. And if something going right, you say, here's something I feel we should continue in a relationship. And once you get them to talking and get to seeing it, and if their heart's in the right place, they'll get it.
Right. That's the key phrase. If their hearts is in the right spot.
But if you made the wrong choice, it's we call a bad match, then that's a different story. But that's not where we're at right now. We don't want to open that can of worms. We're gonna stay right where we are. So Gigi, the question is, when a person starts saying you, already they're putting the blame on you. You say, hey, let's back this up a little bit. Let's talk about I. When you tell me something like that, tell me how it makes you feel. And then you got some kind of basis you can start to work through it. Did that kind of clear for you a little, Gigi?
Yeah, yes, that helped.
Okay.
But I know me, I'm gonna cut it short.
Deuces. Yeah, but all the time you don't. And here's something I learned a long time ago. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If your baby's stinky, you can just change the diaper. You take the bathwater and you clean the baby up, and you throw the bathwater away. You keep the baby. You don't throw the baby out too because the baby stink. Your relationship is your baby. Your connection with your boo is your baby. That connection can get stinky sometimes. When that connection gets stinky, you clean the baby up, you clean it up. You do the self-care, you do the counseling, you do the therapy, you talk to your friends, you talk to each other, you go on long walks and cruises and you take time out with each other. That's where you say you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you throw the dirty water out, okay? Go ahead, Glenda.
Can I chime in real quick on that little comment you just made?
Yes, please.
I would say for me, that would only pertain to me if I was married. That's not in a girlfriend and boyfriend relationship because I would toss the dude out.
Well, I'm not gonna say. Let's get the audience to talk about that. Audience, comment on what she just said because I don't want to be the first one to jump in with both feet.
You're gonna do that anyway.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Audience, how would you handle that? Because the reason why I say that, because a lot of people don't just go to marry right now.
No, they don't. They don't. But at the same time, too, at my age today, I already know what my negotiables and my non-negotiables are. And there's things I'm just not going to tolerate.
Do you know who has the longest, who's starting the most relationships nowadays? People 55 and up.
Oh, go ahead on. I haven't got there yet.
Dating and all that now.
Oh, okay.
So your age is that age, 50 and 55.
Okay.
All right, somebody, honestly, help me out with this. Help me out, because Glenda's saying, if married, if you had a boyfriend or a boo or partner, or however you term that, and you were in a relationship, in some relationships now, people are 2 and 3 years going together, boyfriend and girlfriend, or girlfriend and girlfriend, or boyfriend and boyfriend, whatever. It's 2 and 3 years now. But they said the average relationship is 3 years.
You talking about girlfriend and boyfriend, Mr. Carpenter?
Whatever you want to call it.
Well, because if you go back to what I said, I was saying, when you were talking about going to counseling, trying to fix it, that's your marriage is an investment, and I would do all that with my spouse, but not with some guy that I've been dating for 5 years or less. That means that my selection process was off.
Audience, chime in, please. Dr. Johnson, you're looking at me strange, so I know you got something to say. Comment, Dr. Johnson. What do you want to say about that, Dr. Johnson?
She's taking notes.
No, you unmuted now? She's unmuted. Okay, Dr. Johnson, you're unmuted.
Well, sometime in a marriage, it can be, it can be different. You want to do something different, but when it comes to a spouse that maybe have health issues, or whatever, what you do with that? You want to do something different, but because of circumstances with the spouse, it's not just easy as doing something different.
Okay. Andre had a good comment. Andre had a real good comment. Andre said, if it all depends whether you want to keep the relationship. And I think I believe, I think I can understand what Andre's saying.
But wait a minute, Andre, question. Are you referring to girlfriend and boyfriend, or are you talking about a marriage? Or does it?
I'm saying if you've been together for a year, because nowadays you can move in with somebody and you meet them at the club, next week y'all living together. So it might be an express relationship.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, if you plan to keep them, you might have to have some help getting the conversation across.
Okay.
Oh gosh, what I done did.
You ain't done nothing. You good, Dr. Johnson. You good. You good. Hey, did Angela ever get on? Because that's the only person I see in the waiting room that never came on. Did Angela ever come on?
I don't see her. I don't see her.
I'm gonna text her and see if she's gonna try to log back in. Go ahead, Glenda. I'm just gonna text her because I know she was trying.
Okay. Was someone, Annette, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. So I would like to say something. I was thinking about what Andre said. If you want to keep them, I'm thinking it could be good boyfriend, girlfriend, or partner to go to a therapist or counselor or something in the going together relationship before marriage, if they have reached a point that they can't resolve an issue or something, and they still want each other. I think it could be worthy for them to go to someone else for help.
Okay.
To decide, do we go further or do we just go apart? Do we go further together or apart? It's different, but I think it's good.
Okay.
Good evening.
Okay.
Okay, Ramona. Hello.
Yes, I'm sorry. Could you, was it Mr. Carpenter that originally asked the question? I forgot what the original question was. I was listening to the comment.
Glenda was talking about it only be somebody that she would be married to, that she'd be willing to get counseling or get some therapist or get somebody to help them sort through their relationship. And then Andre came on board and said, if you want to keep the relationship, he would see doing that. But Glenda said she wouldn't do it. Her boyfriend, she would just trade him out.
Right. So the original question just was, would you go to counseling in a relationship? I think I missed the original question.
Would you do that for your boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, or would that be something would you seek professional help for for your marriage if you were a married woman?
Okay, thank you for repeating it. I would maybe do that for an engagement, like we're officially engaged. We got the rings. We've, announced this to the family. We've had our engagement party and that type of thing. Well, we're seriously considering, marriage. So I probably would take it back a little step from, Glenda, when she said about if it was, her spouse. I probably would do it in an engagement situation.
Okay.
If it appeared as though this could break the relationship to keep us, perhaps from going forward, I would take it serious in that matter. But probably not just dating someone, because I don't know, that's just probably a bad sign, that y'all should be together.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he paid for it, maybe I go.
He's gonna use his EAP benefits on his job.
Right, exactly. Other than that, but yeah, maybe in a engagement relationship where we just talking among ourselves, but we wearing the rings, we done made announcements, and all of everything that go along with moving forward, we're making
Correct.
plans, but probably outside of that, no.
Okay. And now with your example, I can agree with you. If we're already at the stage where we're going to progress to the next step, and like you said, you already have the rings, you done sent out the invitations, the families met them, and everybody loves each other. But we have this one hurdle. Yes, maybe so for me, but just a regular boyfriend and girlfriend. We've been dating each other 5 years, no talk of marriage whatsoever. No.
The reason why I said that, and I'm saying 80% of the people on the line here know people that have been together 5, 10, 6, 3, 4 years and not married. Because modern relationships now, people are together. And think about it. If you and somebody together 3 and 4 years and you having issues, do you let the issues continue? You seem like you need help. Even and we're in relationships. Relationships just aren't girlfriend and boyfriends. Sometimes a relationship is you and your best friend. If you and your best friend can't get eye to eye, you might need a counselor to help sort you through that. All relationships aren't romantic relationships now. Even at work, on your job, when you and a coworker have issues, you get a counselor in. They don't fire you both. Will give you both cleanups. They get a counselor in. So let's make sure when we talk about relationships, it's not all the time girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, and wife. Relationships are friends, neighbors, with your pastor. We're talking about relationships now. So let's make sure
you have broadened that. You have broadened the conversation tonight. And it's kind of interesting that you said that, because I'm having an issue right now with one of my teammates.
Oh, Jesus. hey, let's not put our dirty laundry out there.
Okay, you want to change the subject?
No. Hey, if this place you want to air in, hey, let's go for it. I'm a big boy. I got broad shoulders.
I can't. You don't mess me up. I don't even want to talk about it now.
Questions on the first part about the illustration with Tanya. And remember, Tanya had been in a marriage for 10 years, and she felt undervalued, and she wasn't heard. Any questions about that? Any more comments about that part before I let Glenda go into the next one? The next case study? Okay, if no question about that, Glenda, let's go to the next case study, please.
Not a problem. Moving right along. Okay, the next scenario for tonight, we have Erica's realization. Erica is 38 and has been dating her boyfriend for 4 years. The relationship has stagnated and she felt unappreciated. She had invested so much into the relationship, but realized that her self-worth has dwindled. One Sunday night, after a deep discussion with friends, she decided to go do something different. She set a new boundary and prioritized herself. Erica says, doing something different didn't mean leaving, but changing how I allowed myself to be treated. Amen, sister. I don't even know Erica, but she preaching right there. She didn't leave her relationship, but she changed how she handled it. I can relate to that one too, because I've been in that situation where I started to make myself first. And I started to feel better. So whether you call me or not, whether you spend time with me or not, or you make me feel like a priority, I'm going on in Jesus' name. I know how to take myself out to eat. I know even how to go out there and make new friends and make my own fun.
Once
Ladies,
again,
have any comments to that? Not you yet, Mr. Carpenter.
Oh, I was going to say the topic of the night. Okay. Go ahead.
Ladies, you got any comments on that scenario?
I agree.
Okay, that's right. You will find another way to give your life some meaning, meaning even if the other person isn't making their selves available.
Once again, our topic of the night is damn. Sometimes you got to do something different.
That's right. Trust me.
You got to do something different.
All right, Mr. Carpenter, do you have something to say?
Only thing I was going to say, Mildred, did she come on? It was Mildred that's here to come on.
I did admit her.
Okay,
only thing yes, I see her.
This is a prime candidate, Erica. It said had been in the relationship 4 years. We just talked about that. So this is everyday stuff, because now they got what's called modern relationships. Modern relationship goes what the two decide goes. You know, we got a thing that if two wants to be together, they should be together. Being together sometimes don't mean that it's always harmonious or it's always heaven on earth. Sometimes you have to, once again, Bobby Womack had said a song about Tars and Stripes, one of Bobby Womack's songs of old days. It's the way you always wanted to be. Because remember back in our notes, I think we had about 3 months ago, we did something on the 5 stages of relationship. Okay, on the 5 stages, remember the first stage, you say intro or the honeymoon, when two people first come to see each other, they want to be in front of each other's face 24/7, you can't do nothing wrong, and everything's peaches and cream, no matter what you do, it's beautiful. And then we went to the next stage, is the norming stage, where the frustration, where you begin, you see them a little bit more, then you start noticing little things, and you start noticing they're not as perfect as they were at first, but it's still good. It's still good. And then once the mask really comes off, they get to show who they really are. And then you decide, then the next stage is adjustment. You decide, is this the person for you or not the person for you? And that's when you start making those decisions. Am I going to cut and run? Or am I going to stay here and we're going to work this out together and we're going to have something down the road? And that's that's adjustment stage. Some people call it the blitz. And then the next one, commitment stage. Yes, we're in this. You my boo. You my boo. And this whether, this is whoever you love, you my boo. This is that 4th stage. And then the next stage is that acceptance stage where it's it. That's when you get married, or you're gonna have kids, or you guys gonna get a business together, whatever. That's the way it rolls. But in the interim of getting there, you have to make some decisions about the relationship. Is this, you want to invest time in this person? You want to invest time in this relationship? Do you feel that you got something here? It's because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. Let's get that out there first.
Correct. I agree.
Right.
And since we got mostly women on the line, a lot of time ladies feel they want to be nurturers. They feel that they love you a little stronger, or do this or do a little bit more, that they can bring a person to see it on the way they want to see it. Oh, I heard somebody say something.
That doesn't always work.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I've been taught and told and shown You can't make a grown person do anything once they're set in their ways, unless they really want to do it on their own. They're not gonna just go with what you want them to do. They're not gonna change for you.
That's correct. That's correct. And here's the thing. There's a wealth of knowledge on this line. We've got maybe 12 people, 10 people on the line tonight. So there's a wealth of knowledge about relationships. All of us aren't married. All of us haven't been in relationships where we got everything we wanted. We all have ups and downs. So this is not new stuff. We're not telling you anything new tonight. But what we're trying to get you to understand, we want you to see and we want you to share. Because the goal is you don't have to always trade somebody in and go, because a lot of time when you throw people back or trade people in or decide this ain't for you, and then the next relationship you see the same thing happening all over again, and then you throw this one away, then the next one, the same thing happening all over again. What's the common denominator?
You.
I rest my gaze. So therefore, you might have to look within, and it could be as easy as you could be broken, or you could neglect yourself so much that you don't have anything to give. Because they say it's hard to pour from an empty cup. I heard something not long ago. I worked with another coach on another project, and she told me, she said, "Look, Rufus, when you want to help somebody, and you don't pour from your cup, you pour from the saucer under the cup." Because she said, in order for stuff to be in the saucer under the cup, that means it has to overflow out of the cup.
Oh.
Pour from the overflow that's went into the saucer, not from the cup. And what she was saying is that you have to have something to give something. You can't keep giving your all in all, because you keep giving your all, you get what's called burnout.
Yes.
And you're no good to yourself and nobody else when you burn completely out. Because they got some people out there in relationships that will work you over
the coals.
We've got this, some people say there's two types, there's givers and takers.
I've met a lot of takers in my days.
Yes. So therefore, you got to realize that self-care and self-love is very, very important in relationships. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't have anything to give.
Right.
Your responsibility in a relationship, not so much to take care of your mate, your responsibility to keep yourself up too. You have to do the things, spa days, walks, exercise, eat right, all these things.
Yes, exactly.
All right, somebody else share. I'm tired of sharing. Somebody else share. Let's get somebody else to share in this. Somebody that hasn't talked, share. Somebody share about their relationships and how we can keep the relationship strong. What is it to keep a relationship on track? What are some of the things that you found that worked? What are some of the framework or some of the techniques or some of the strategies you have employed in relationships to keep the relationships moving smooth? Okay, me, Glenda.
Well,
Go ahead.
I am divorced and I am single, so I don't think I have anything to add, because I knew the answer to that. I'd be on another podcast. That's my answer.
That sounds just like Andre. Andre's answer. You know I'm have that answer. You beat Andre to the draw on that one. Ramona, that's Andre's answer. Go ahead, Dr. Johnson. What are you gonna say?
Nothing.
Is my audio on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay.
So thanks for coming back, Mildred.
One thing I wanted to, one comment I wanted to say about serving from the saucer and not the cup. And I totally agree, because if your cup becomes empty and you don't fill it, you're right. You don't have anything to add or to put in. But I think the way to do it is with communication. But guess what? It still takes two to communicate. You can do
Exactly.
all you want, but if the other doesn't have anything to say or don't want to share, you still, it's like a one-sided communication or relationship. So it takes two. But my thing is, I won't say give up, but at the same time, you're right. You can't make anybody love you. You can't make anybody want what you have if that's not what they're looking for. But the thing is, you don't have to still settle for anything. You don't have to stoop to thinking that you're not anything or you're not worthy. So I guess you just have to look at it like, well, it's another opportunity to keep moving and to get involved in something else. May not always be smooth and easy, but like you say, in a relationship, you're going to have to work on it. Whether it's an old one, new one, or rekindling one, it still has to put some work in, but you can't do it by yourself.
Sure can.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when you talk about relationship, the first thing, everybody wants the best. Everybody think they've got great, what's called pickers. You can pick the right person for you. You get your pickers 100% on accurate. But
my picker broke.
When you get when you made the wrong choice, when you've got the wrong selection and it's not working out. And a lot of people feel you want to find out as quick as you can. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, one of my friends has a philosophy: if you don't want me, let me know right quick so I can go find somebody that do want me.
All right.
So one of my friends got that philosophy, and it works for him.
That's good. That makes sense. That'll save a lot of money and time right there. Let me know. Let me know up front.
Because a lot of times when you give so much of yourself and you really don't want to feel like you made the wrong decision, and some of us hold on longer than we should, and some of us got a hair trigger. I'm not going to call Glenda's name. Because I'd be wrong if I did that.
One tonight.
I'd be wrong if I did that, so I'm not going to do that tonight. But you have to realize something. Your relationships go as you put work in them. There's a soulmate out there for everybody. There's a happy, beautiful relationship out there for everybody. Mm-hmm. But it's work. You got to invest. You got to invest time in it.
And both parties need to do that investing.
Exactly.
Now we try on this framework of here, we try to actually put things out like love language, attachment styles. We try to teach you how to communicate better. We talk about these things that build a relationship, but you still have to do the work. You still have to do the work. There was a time when everybody went for beauty. Hey, man, he's the most handsome. She's the most beautiful. That's love. But I think we're beyond that now. I think when we get in the 25s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, when everything wasn't as it was when you was 18 and 19, I think now we can say with genuine love for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes not always you look for love. Sometimes you just look for companionship. You're looking for somebody to do things with. So before we go into the next part, let's talk about settling. Because I hear that a lot. I hear two things. I hear settling and placeholders. I can't figure out which is which. But have you heard the term settling and the other term placeholders?
I think you told us about placeholders. You and your son.
I did. When did I do that?
When your son was on.
No. But we want to revisit those two things, Glenda. Come on, Glenda. Don't let it get out of the bag. I'm trying.
He did it. I'm just repeating what you said.
I know. But when you talk about those things, settling and placeholders, when you settle. Sometimes you settle because you don't have any information. You don't know how to build a good relationship. You don't have all the strategies in place.
Okay.
And that's what Sunday Night at 9 is all about. It's giving you some strategies, giving you some framework. You know, there are so many programs that Glenda has come up with her Glenda's Get It and Go relationship coaching platform that she has. And a lot of it's going to be free resources. Now, there's going to be some pay-as-you-go type things too, but a lot of them will be free resources. That's going to be marvelous things. I remember when we first started, this about 8 months ago, we had what we did, I think it was a relationship evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah, we have things like that. And those things are things that, those tools that we have are excellent. Stop laughing, Glenn.
Yeah, because you had me take it. I ain't want to tell you my score.
It's almost like stick a fork in it, you can see is it done. And those are some things, the free resources we have that we're going forward. And I applaud Glenda for taking the time to have this platform so we can get together and talk in the community. Because a lot of times in the community, we don't have these things. Because some of the biggest messes we make as a culture is in relationships and in our finances.
Yes.
The church isn't talking it. The school isn't talking it. So where do you get it from? And you know, when you go, most forums you see on the YouTube or the TVs like that, these are pre-rehearsed conversations. They have someone there, would have a person they're interviewing that they've already went over the script of what they're gonna talk about before it even come on the air, and it's scripted. This is not that.
No.
Not that. What you see is what you get here. This is raw. You know, we ask you to bring your questions out. We ask you to ask the hard questions. We ask you to be truthful and honest, because we the same. We make mistakes. Sometimes you bring up stuff we don't know. We try to find the answer. If we don't have an answer this week, we'll try to have it next week.
Have a takeaway.
Yes. All right, Glenda, let's go to the next step. Next one, because I think we got enough. Any questions about Erica and being in a 4-year relationship? Any questions about that before we move on to the next part of this? No questions? Move on, Glenda. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Carpenter, but my team only gave me 2 illustrations tonight.
All right, that means it's time to wrap it up and go home. Let's talk about key takeaways. Okay. Relationships in general. What are some of the takeaways for tonight? One of them is that relationships should nurture you. You should grow. You should grow in a relationship. You know, relationship is something that don't always mean that if something's not going right, you got to step away. But it do mean that you need to reevaluate, revisit some of the things that's important to you in a relationship. Somebody help me out. When you're in a relationship, what are you looking for? What are some of the things you want to get out of a relationship? What are some of the values you look for in a relationship? Don't say love. You know, love, we guess a given. That's a given. So let's go beyond love. What are some of the things when you're in a relationship you're looking for? What are some of the values you're looking for in a relationship? Audience, let's let the audience talk on this part. Audience, help us out. 401k days.
Who was that? That's Andre.
Andre, cut it out. Because Andre talking about looking for a paymaster.
No, he said he's looking for the benefits. He said, I want to know in advance.
Okay, so financial support, because they said 2 can make it better than 1. So I'm gonna help you out with Andre. I'm gonna say financial support. That's shared financial support. You don't want a paymaster. You want somebody that's gonna help you, and you and them together can attain your goals, right, Andre? Right. What are some?
Just nod your head, Andre. Say it.
What are some of the other things? What are some of the other things you're looking for in a successful relationship?
Does he or she have work-life balance?
Okay, good. The work-life balance. If that's work-life balance, or is that time to invest in a relationship?
Right. I mean, do you have enough time to have a relationship? Right.
It's time. So let's say quality time. Let's make it easy for everybody. Quality time.
No, but I need him to still go to work. Okay, that's why I say a work-life balance, because I know some people call me a workaholic, but when I play. I don't have a problem going on a vacation for a week or 2.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
So we got finances. We got work-life balance and time. What are some more? Give me some more. What are some other things you look for in a relationship? Audience.
This is Annette. I look for with my partner that we can like interactive communication, like a sounding board. Like I can come to them and bring concerns with that I'm probably just want to talk about or get more insight on, or let me see, I don't know how to really explain that. More so like I want, I guess, interactive communication.
Okay.
That we can talk, communicate with each other and be positive about it, no matter what it is, just be interactive for growth.
Mm-hmm.
Open and honest.
Growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Anyone else? Any other things?
For me, I would say someone with a rooted, spiritual goals. Yeah. Because there's only so much, with our intelligence and our degree and all of the things that we've perhaps sought out to enhance the relationship, that if we don't have God in the midst, there's really nothing really to keep you together if you don't have that as the common goal. So for me, it would be someone really rooted in their spirituality.
Awesome. Okay. They got to have the Holy Ghost.
And speaking in tongues.
Woo, hallelujah.
That's a good one. Hey.
That's right. That I mean, because a family that prays together stays together, and you have to be on the same page. As that one can't go to church and the other one don't, and you think you're gonna have a progressive relationship, or a relationship that's gonna be founded and rooted and grounded. And no, it's not. It's not gonna work.
Okay.
I wanted to say there was this question that I came up with, and the question was, who is your leader following? And so if I'm following you as the woman, then I need to know who you're following. And if it begins and ends with you, then I don't have, that 100% confidence, because I know we within ourselves, we don't have all the answers. So if I'm following you and you following God, then hey, let's go.
Right.
Who's at the helm? That's awesome.
Okay, who's at the what?
Helm. Who's guiding the ship?
Oh, okay.
The helm. Ship helm. I might be not pronouncing it right.
That's okay. But listen, Andre put in the chat, he said, are credit card bills coming to your house because I'm out? So it doesn't sound like he wants someone with a whole lot of debt or bad credit.
No, he must have been a paymaster before.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification.
And he found a way to get off of that hook, and he don't want to get back on it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's okay. We're at 9:54. So, Glenda, anything before we start wrapping this up, bring this home?
No, the same things that we talk about every Sunday here for the past maybe month now. We have our upcoming events, the cruise and the conference. The cruise is in October. And if you need the information, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Mr. Carpenter. And we also have the conferences coming in June.
Oh, man.
Coming in June. Again, if you need information, please don't hesitate to reach out to either me or him. If you haven't already, please sign up or send us a request on our public Facebook page. We're always looking to friend you guys so you can stay up to date with any current events or anything that's going on with Reset. Also, we're on YouTube. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Also, please give, share the link, share any of our information with any family and friends that may benefit from Reset to Healthier Relationship. If you feel like you have maxed out and you know your niece or your nephew or another relative in your family may benefit from this open discussion, please don't hesitate to share the information. You know, I really have a desire to reach out and impact everyone's relationship, whether it's girlfriend or boyfriend, husband or wife, or even your co-workers. So please, please, please share our information if you can and will. Mr. Carpenter, you can close us out.
Okay, damn, sometimes you got to do something different. Was a nice topic. And what a topic it was. I am so glad you were here to share in the nice topic. You made a difference. You brought a lot of stuff home, a lot of stuff that we weren't too aware of, you brought in. When we start talking about it, we shared two case studies. One was when Tanya had been married and she felt like she wasn't getting everything she needed in a relationship. She wasn't being nurtured and she wasn't growing. So she decided that something needed to change. And then we flip side and we went to Erica, who had been in a relationship. She wasn't married, but she had been in a relationship and she felt like she wasn't getting what she needed in a relationship. So both of these people had a chance to step back, revisit, and they had to actually look at their relationships and see what there was what they weren't getting out of that. And the key takeaways of the night is that when you're in a relationship, you should be nurtured and growth. And you shouldn't just have to settle. You shouldn't have to settle. And
Amen.
And sometimes thank you, Mildred, and sometimes doing something different don't mean always stepping away, but it just mean that you have to actually shift your mindset or approach. Sometimes it's just a shift. Sometimes when we gave you that framework we use, a little simple exercise we call start, stop, and continue, which is something very simple. You and your mate or boo can sit down for 5 or 10 minutes and you can say, here's the stop. Here's some things I wish we should stop doing because it's counterproductive. It's not taking us where we want to go. Here's some things we should start doing because I feel this will bring more value to our relationship when we start doing these things. And then here's some things that we're doing. I ask that we continue to do these things because these things, we're getting good dividends from them. It's working in our relationship. So those three words, stop, start, and change. You and your spouse sitting there, or significant other, or boyfriend, girlfriend, sit down just for 5 or 10 minutes in a simple conversation. And we ask that when you have conversation, don't always just want to talk to get your point across. Listen to hear what the other person's saying. And when you're talking, don't always say you, always make it I. Because if I tell you how it's affecting me, then I'm not pointing my finger at you. Then you can see from my perspective, because when you say you, like I think Gigi said from the very beginning, the person always right, they're never wrong. How do you deal with that? You tell them, so look, frame it I. Let me know how that makes you feel. And take an ownership too in it, because a relationship is two people. It's a union, y'all, of course, called partners.
Yes.
So remember that. And don't be afraid to set new boundaries and new priorities in a relationship. Sometimes, even when you've done all of this, it may be just a little bit more than you can handle. And this is what we ask, that you find a counselor, a therapist, or some professional, and you sit down and they can help you sort some of this stuff out. Because sometimes you can't think of it all. And I think Ramona said that if you're trying to lead us and you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, you need help outside of you too. And I think she also said she want to know that someone's rooted in a religious or a spiritual type situation where they can get help beyond themselves. And she even said speaking in tongue. I don't know about that part. But I was in the Holy Ghost.
Oh, look, he can cut a rug. He can cut a step. He can do something.
But tonight we had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed you. Thanks for coming. And Ronald, we call him Bull from where I'm from. I hope he come back next week because he has the male perspective. He's a lot of fun. So come back next week, Bo, because we run out of time now. At 10, we cut it off. So Glenda, it's been fun. Everybody, we're glad to see you.
Yes.
Same time. And if you haven't sent your email, text me email, because what we're going to start doing, we're going to start emailing instead of texting. Because when we text, we use a lot of your memory out. And some of us don't have unlimited memory where you can't always get these long text messages. So we want to start emailing them out. Now, the link is going to be permanent link. It's always going to be the same link. So that Zoom link is going to be the same. So you have that. But send us your email, okay? It's been fun, you guys. Good night, everybody.
Good night. And it truly was.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay.
Good night.